Okay, when I was like 13 or 14, I was obsessed with all things mythology, okay?
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Like, I was really into the Greek gods, Norse mythology, all of that stuff. I just wanted to research and Google all day. But I didn't realize that other cultures really had their own folklore, and I didn't look into it until very recently. So I was like, hey, why don't we investigate that in a video together? And while I was looking around, I found a lot of creepy shit, but in a good way. If you're new here, hi, I'm Nikki, and I like to talk about things related to history. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this video, but without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, just a heads up, I will be mispronouncing things, and I do apologize. I'm sure someone will let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, so we'll just get into it. The first thing I want to say is that in Japanese folklore, the supernatural beings or creatures are usually called yokai. First on our list of creepy crawly creatures is the Jorogumo. The legend says that if a golden orb weaver spider reaches the age of 400 years old, that it'll gain the ability to shapeshift into a person. And it also gets kind of hungry for human flesh. So there's that. But anyway, this really hungry spider is able to now shapeshift into a beautiful woman and lure unsuspecting men back to its web of lies so that it can eat them. Kind of sketchy, if you ask me, but okay. Okay, I feel like I didn't do the best job of explaining the Jorogumo, so I'm going to do a little bit more here. But the myth of the Jorogumo is so prolific, I guess, that in English there is a Jorogumo spider that researchers usually use to refer to the Trichonophilia clavata. I will throw up a picture for you so you can see what that looks like. But there's a few stories in Japanese folklore that feature the Jorogumo yokai prominently, and I want to talk about them here. So the first one was about this warrior named Bushi, I think, and a young woman who is really beautiful, like maybe 20 years old, comes out and she's like, "Hello, you're looking real good." The warrior, I guess, somehow sees through her shenanigans and is like, I feel like you're a yokai because you're kind of randomly here, and why would some random hot lady be in the middle of nowhere with me? So he sees through her ploy and he stabs her with his sword. And she is like, ouch, I'm hurt, and she runs to the attic. He's too scared to go and confront her, so he's like, I'm just gonna let her die up there, and then I'll see what's up tomorrow. So the next day, he goes upstairs to the attic and he finds a dead Jorogumo, the spider, that is like giant, along with a bunch of bodies that the yokai had eaten. There's another story as well that features the Jorogumo, and it was about this guy who, his name is Magoroku. I think I said that right. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced it. Anyway, Magoroku is sleeping in a veranda somewhere and he's just like dozing off, he's doing his thing. And he wakes up and there's this woman who's like, I am gonna show you my daughter. You're just gonna be the perfect fit for her. She's so beautiful. You're gonna love her. And he's like, what the hell? He goes to her estate with her and there's sure enough a 16 or 17-year-old beautiful girl saying that, hey, I want to marry you. A little problematic overall, but hang in there. He's already married, so he's like, I don't need a wife. I don't know why you brought me here, but whatever. The girl and the mom persist, and they're just like, no, 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 you have to marry her. So they're just getting more and more pushy, and they're getting like way too intense, right? So Magoroku is like, I'm leaving. I'm scared. I'm weirded out. I'm confused, and he leaves. The house disappeared as he ran away, and he found himself back at his own house, and he's like, what is going on? He finds his wife, and his wife is like, honey, you've been sleeping this whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. So Magoroku is like, I gotta go back to where I was sleeping. He looks around, and there's a Joro spider that has made a bunch of webs around where he was sleeping. And he's like, hey, I had killed this spider or drove it away like 2 days ago. This is sketchy. So if you run across one of these spiders, probably just kill it. Be safe. Don't let any yokai into your life. The second creature that we're going to talk about is the Gashadokuro. Gashadokuro. And that is a gigantic human skeleton that is basically made from a bunch of other smaller skeletons. And it's usually after a really horrific mass death of a group of people. So think like famine, genocide, wars, that kind of thing. Now, the reason that these skeletons come all coagulated together Now, the reason that these skeletons like coagulate together into one giant skeleton is because they all didn't get a proper funeral. So they're in like this mass grave together and they just, bunch up and they're building this resentment and anger, and then boom, giant skeleton. Gashadokuro directly translates to starving skeleton. So that kind of gives you a little more information on their name. They go around and pretty much decapitate alive humans and drink their blood until they kind of run themselves out and don't have any anger anymore. So that's cool. It's interesting though, because this giant skeleton is actually really quiet except for the chattering of its teeth. And by the time that you can actually hear the chattering of the teeth, it's like too close and you probably won't make it out alive. They only stop terrorizing all the people around them when their anger has kind of run out. And who knows how long that could be? Because, I mean, people can hold grudges for a long time. I mean, I still remember when I was in like kindergarten and some boy told me that my eyes were the color of poop. Like, if I was a Gashadokuro, I would probably come after that guy. I wouldn't be gone until after I had found him. Moving on to our second creepy crawly creature, it is the kuchisake-onna. This one translates to slit-mouthed woman, and it got really popular in the 1970s. I believe it was around earlier than that in like the 16th and 17th century, but it really found a resurgence since then, and this is one you might have heard of. This legend says that a woman will kind of corner a man in like an alleyway or something, and she'll be carrying scissors, and she has a mask on, right? She's going to go up to this guy and ask, "Am I beautiful?" If you say no, she'll stab you with the scissors. And if you say yes, then she will pull down her mask to reveal, of course, a slit mouth from ear to ear. She'll then ask you if she's beautiful again. And if you say no, again, you'll get stabbed. And if you say yes, she will also make you like her to slit your face just like her. And then you'll be beautiful too. Yay. Take home message: if a woman with scissors approaches you in any kind of quiet alleyway or something, just run. I think that's a safe bet. If anyone approaches you with scissors and it's like not in the right context, probably run. Man, there's just no winning with this one. Okay, this next one is kind of whimsical and I kind of like it. This one is the Obarion, and it means imp. Like I said, it's kind of whimsical because the Obarion will jump on an unsuspecting traveler's back, and he'll just kind of piggyback ride with him. And from there, there's kind of two versions. So one version says that as you take another step, each step you take, the imp gets heavier and heavier until eventually you're crushed, which kind of sucks. But the other version is where it gets kind of fun. So if you're able to uphold the weight of this imp, then you get a bag of gold at the end. So you can get prizes for being haunted or, terrorized by these creatures. Take home message: if you think you're strong enough, if you think you're ripped enough to handle this imp, then you could probably just, walk around unsuspecting, no backpack. Maybe you'll get rich off of it. We're kind of winding down, coming up towards the end. This one is pretty intense though, okay? And it's called the kappa. So these things are like giant turtles, sort of, with like webbed hands and shells and everything, but they have like this divot shape in the top of their head, like maybe they were dropped on their heads as babies. I don't know. But there's water that's supposed to stay in their little head divot thing, and that is the source of their power. So that's kind of cool. However, they are also fiercely polite. So I guess you can outsmart them and take their power away from them if you bow to them, because then they'll be forced to bow back at you, because they're polite. And then all of that water in their little head dish bowl thing will fall out, and then they won't have their power anymore until they get it refilled, I guess. These are some of the more like smart yokai, okay? They can learn different languages. They can be kind of whimsical at times, it sounds like, but they're also sort of terrifying. When I was researching, I was kind of just pointed towards the whimsical direction at first, and I was like, oh, how fun. And then I found out that they kidnap and rape women, and sometimes they'll just like wait in toilets and fondle women's butts. So I think that they are not as whimsical as I had previously thought, perhaps. I guess I didn't really tell you why I thought they were whimsical. So, like, I don't know, on one hand they're smart and they sometimes choose to befriend people and they're kind of cute in that way. And they also like eating cucumbers. But on the other hand, like I said, the kidnapping and the raping. And also one of their favorite snacks is human entrails. So I don't think I want to run across one ever. And the butt fondling is too much. Too much for me. I'm gonna check the toilet for a kappa every single time I go in the bathroom. Also, I feel kind of like Koopa Troopa from Mario is like similar to what the kappa is supposed to look like. Like, I'll throw some pictures up here, but you just tell me what you think. But let's talk about this next one. I think this one is a very whimsical one to end on, so that's where we'll end. But it's called the Chochin Obake. Um, and this is a lantern yokai. It's kind of fun. He's probably just made up to scare kids, but there's this kind of legend in Japanese folklore that says any inanimate object can gain a soul if it's been 100 years old. And so this guy is a little lantern yokai. He's a little lantern ghost. So, after his 100 years, he turns into a little creepy goblin creature. And like I said, he's probably just scaring kids, scaring some people. But they'll pass by, and then he'll like stick his tongue out at them and let his little eyes roll back in his head and like make some weird noises, just to give you a little fright, just to be a little naughty. He's just trying to. It's an innocent prank, an innocent little jump scare. That's it. He's not out here fondling butts or kidnapping and raping people. So I think this one's fine. Totally harmless. That is all I have for you today on the creepy creatures of Japanese folklore that I found in my very brief looking around the internet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see anything else similar to this, like other other informative mythological videos on different cultures and stuff. But yeah, I also feel like I might have gotten some things wrong in this video, so feel free to let me know if I did. But yeah, other than that, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!